Hi. Today in this video we will talk about some similarities and differences between the MECHA C1 and C2 controllers. The most obvious difference between C1 and C2 is that C2 has a 0.96-inch OLED display, while C1 has only LED indicators. The display can guide you through all the major operations and settings, making C2 much more intuitive than the C1 controller. We dare to say, however, that you will like the C1 controller a lot once you understand what the LEDs indicate and also the meaning of the sounds the controller makes. But you shouldn't limit yourself to using only the controller buttons. Both C1 and C2 users can access the MECHA's user interface and benefit from all the functionalities that MECHA offers. It can be accessed directly by phone or via a Wi-Fi network, or via the internet, with a device connected to the internet. The MECHA's user interface is the same for both controllers and could be used to change settings and create presets. A preset can be assigned to controller buttons. Then you can easily launch such a preset by pressing certain buttons on the controller. For example, a preset assigned to button 1 can be launched by pressing 1 and the right arrow button. The minus button of C2 is the equivalent of the 1 button of C1. It comes pre-programmed with 4 shots around. It can be used to enter the number 1. When long pressed, MECHA executes your favorite code 1. With C2, 2 favorite codes can be set, and with C1, 3 favorite codes. In C2's OLED menu, it can be used to edit values and delete some presets. The plus button of C2 is the equivalent of the 2 button of C1. It comes pre-programmed with 6 shots around. It can be used to enter the number 2. When long pressed, MECHA executes your favorite code 2. In C2's OLED menu, it can be used to access the edit mode and to edit values. The menu button of C2 is the equivalent of the 3 button of C1. It comes pre-programmed with 8 shots around. It can be used to enter the number 3. When long pressed on C1, MECHA executes your favorite code 3. When long pressed on C2, in advanced mode, the display will show the preset menu. It can also be used to switch from one menu to another. On both C1 and C2, the left and right buttons can be used for manual rotation to the left and to the right, respectively, and to specify the direction when launching a preset using the controller buttons, also as terminators for codes, similar to the Enter key. On C2, they can be used as navigation buttons as well. The up and down buttons of C2 control the up and down movement of the upper rotator, when 2 rotators are used. On MECHA DAC, the left and right buttons of the upper C1 act as up and down buttons and control the upper rotator. The center button of C2 has a camera trigger function, and also a confirmation function. C2's buttons behavior depends on whether simple or advanced mode is enabled or there is a menu option shown on the display. If we need to use a code, on the C2 we usually select it from the config menu, while on the C1, it must be entered using the controller buttons. On both C1 and C2, the power button is used to power on, off MECHA, to confirm or cancel some operations, and it can also be used to enter the number 0 when power codes are entered. Power codes always start with 0. In addition to the MECHA's user interface, there is also a dedicated interface for the C2 controller, which we often use in our tutorials. It can be used the same way the buttons on the controller are used. It can be accessed at http://192.168.8.1/C2, the MECHA's static IP address. Please use the dynamic IP address if you are connecting to MECHA's network by using a computer. The dimensions of C1 are 71, 38, 41 mm, and it weighs 185 grams, due to the included battery. The dimensions of C2 are 80, 50, 20 mm, and its weight is 85 grams. MECHA C2 controller is a dedicated dual-axis controller. It can be connected to 2 rotators, so it can control 2 rotators simultaneously. C1 can control only 1 rotator at a time. For dual-axis applications, you need either one C2 controller and 2 rotators, or 2 C1 controllers and 2 rotators. The C2 controller connects to the rotators with its built-in cable. The C1 controller connects wirelessly to another C1, thus 2 C1 can be assembled in DAC, dual-axis combo, and control 2 axes. It is possible to shoot a multi-row panorama by using only one motorized rotator and one C1 controller, but you have to manually tilt the upper rail of the pano head. Both controllers can be used for single-row shooting of turntable object VR, for partial panoramas, or 360 degrees panoramas and high-resolution gigapixel images as well. The C2's battery is external and you can quickly replace it when needed. The use of external battery means you can carry spare batteries and quickly refuel MECHA before or during a shooting session. A power cable splitter is available for using 2 sets of batteries at the same time for extended operation and changing batteries without a pause. C1, on the other hand, has a built-in battery that lasts for 1 day after a full charge. It can be charged from a power bank or outlet adapter even while it is in use. Both C1 and C2 have support for IR or wired remote control. The use of the NNIR remote control can be enabled from the configuration page in the user interface, but also from the OLED menu when using C2, or with the code 3232 when using C1. We hope you've enjoyed this video. Bye for now.